Welcome back, everybody. Now then, let's begin Chapter 3.
In March of 1935, the Empire began its invasion across Gallia's eastern border. Maximilian, commander of the Gallian invasion front, built his army around mobile armor. Ghirlandaio and the other fortresses along the border fell to his tanks in quick succession. Bruhl's fall in under 2 hours was typical of villages in the Empire's path, and the road to the capital bore a steady flow of refugees. Randgries, Gallia's capital, a town secure and stable since ancient times. Within its walls stood the castle Randgries, and within its unicorn spire resided Cordelia, Gallia's princess. Supporting Gallia's policy of neutrality was a system of universal conscription. Under it, all schools required military training each year. In the event of a war, citizens were then drafted into the militia to defend their country. As the conflict with the East grew worse, both Welkin and Alicia found themselves no exceptions to that fate.
So these are my new digs. Oh, my uniform. I should get changed before reporting in. Better get ready now. Flares, binoculars, a compass, and a map. Everything you need for a nice hike. Or combat.
Welkin? Can I come in?
Sure, it's open.
Oh, you're already changed too. Let's see. Not bad, not bad. You look good, actually. So, how about me? Do I look all right in this? Convincing?
Let's take a look. Yeah, you look fine. You wear it like a pro.
Really? You're not just saying that?
Of course not. You look tough. I like it.
Oh, good. I was worried it looked kind of silly.
No way. That plating on the back, it's like a coleopterate exoskeleton. Beetle-tastic.
Colio what? And did you just say beetle? Welkin? What kind of girl wants to hear that she looks like a bug?
Huh? Not just any bug. A rhinoceros beetle, king of the insects. Who wouldn't want that?
Uh-huh. I guess I'll just try to take that as a very Welkin sort of compliment.
Tell me about that scarf. You've been wearing it since I met you.
Oh, this? It's part of my uniform from the bakery.
Is that right?
I don't want to forget the time I spent busting my buns baking. I plan to keep wearing it until I can get back to manning the ovens again.
That's great. Once you do, I'll be first in line to get some of that bread.
Is that a promise? Well, I'll be sure to have plenty of it ready and waiting for you.
Absolutely. Hey, if you're ready, we should probably go see the captain now.
Yeah, Logan's a dork. Even in war, he's a dork. Alright then, let's keep on going.
Come in.
Excuse me, ma'am. Galleon Militia enlistee Welkin Gunther, reporting for duty.
Ma'am, Galleon Militia enlistee Alicia Melchiot, also reporting for duty.
I'm Captain Eleanor Varrot, commander of this regiment. Gunther, you're promoted to lieutenant. You'll be leader of Squad 7 now.
Ma'am.
Enlistee Melchiot, you're promoted to sergeant. You'll be under the lieutenant's command. Understood?
Ma'am!
What do you know? It is you. Nice coincidence, huh, Welkin?
Valdio? I had no idea that you'd enlisted.
Yep. Now that there's a real war going on, I joined up. Pretty much all the officer and training boys are here just like you.
You know each other.
Yes, ma'am. We knew each other at university. Welcome was in science and I was in archaeology. And just look at us now. No archaeology or science. Looks like the two of us are studying more, I guess.
Looks that way. It's good to see you.
And you.
That'll be all for now. There's a strategy briefing later today, but you still have time. Time for you to catch up. You'll be spending a lot of time on the post and in Randgrees. They'll be your new home, so get to know them. That'll be all. Report back in time for the briefing. Until then, you're dismissed.
Alright then, we now are actually introduced to the actual main menu of the game. Yeah, well we have not touched upon this because we didn't have access to it. Also, I do kind of like how there was Biggs, Wedge, Valdio. Shows how important the characters are. Okay, so let's focus on what we have now. Squad Barracks. We can now change our equipment and view members of our current squad. Command Room allows us to actually fill our squad with our characters besides Elise and Wilkin, because you can't do the game without them. Drain Field. This is how you level up units. What's interesting here about Valkyria Chronicles is when you level up Scout, all Scouts level up. Nobody's lagging behind and nobody's too far ahead. Everybody's at a nice same level because this is the military. R&D facility. This is how you upgrade your weapons and the otherwise. Simple as that. So let's go over to the barracks first. We have Vulcan, we have Alyssa, we have Rosie, and we have Largo. Let's just add 2 other things to this real quick. We are going to go to Command Room. And I hope I get something good.
It's good to see you doing the rounds. Welcome. This is the command room. Use it to structure your squad. You will have access to both drafted and volunteer recruits. Now that I think of it, Squad 7 is still short on soldiers, isn't it? This is the master list. The recruits have all been assigned classes. I should probably touch on the 5 classes. First off, you have the Scouts. Just like the name says, their best asset is their mobility. They can go out, collect intel, then make that and a keen eye for enemies. A good scout can spot a man in tall. That comes at the price of firepower. Their job is spotting enemies, not taking them out. Next up, the shock trooper. They're the ones to break through enemy lines and clean up. They offer excellent offense and defense. As far as combat goes, they're as good as it gets. While they lack any specialized techniques, they also don't have any obvious shortcomings. Think of them as the least finicky unit in your squad, Lieutenant. After them, we have Lancers, then anti-tank units. They're critical when facing. Their purpose is pretty self-explanatory. In most cases, they're the only way to stop a tank. They're also well shielded from explosives, which conveniently includes tank. Sadly, they're slow and weak to gunfire. Their limited ammo could also be called a draw. Changing gears, we have the Engineers. They handle supplies and perform combat. They can restock other units' ammunitions. They can place sandbags for cover disarm mines, repair towers. Their actual combat skills are very... Lastly, we have the snipers. They can shoot... You won't find better soldiers for marksmanship and range. They can hit targets. Sniping rifles also come with scopes. Drawbacks include low mobility and defense. If the enemy... That should cover the basics. Go ahead and put a squad together now. There's room...
So this is mainly something I'm going to be switching out when the episode requires it. So we have Ted, Wavy, Motley, Noct, Nancy, Monia, Juno, Cherry, Aki, Alex, Kevin, Salas, Mika, Vice. Yeah, Vice is in here. Have you played, is it Trails in the Sky? It's an Sega game, which is very expensive. He's one of the main characters there, as well as, I think, Aika. I'm trying to, and I think Eddie as well. Let me just go straight down to snipers and see if... Nope. Okay. Alright, let's talk about what's up here in the P area. P is traits. Every character has a very unique set of traits, making them better in some missions, better and worse in others. Let's say Ted, for example. He has metal allergy, so he can't be near tanks or machinery or anything like that, or else he'll gain debuff. Fancies men, fancies women, meaning that he's relatively good around both genders, thankfully. Keep this in mind when you're building a team. Ted's one of the more infamous members of the game because he's a very good scout. But he won't shut up, it won't shut his fucking mouth. So, as well as we have likes. Every character has their own unique set of likes and dislikes. And if you place a character that they like near them, they'll become a little bit better. It's a movable buff. Okay, so we are actually going to go straight down to Jane because she is my...
The name's Jane Turner.
One of my favorite characters. Yeah, imps is the derogatory term for Imperials. Yes, this game has a lot of racism, and I'm happy for it because it actually does show the other side of war where things are high and you're not going to like a lot of people.
Well, feel like you've struck a balance? Come back anytime you'd like to adjust your squad. As time passes, we'll have more recruits to choose from, so keep an eye on that list. Oh, and all the recruits go through training together, so they're all ready for combat. They'll be at the same level as the rest of the team you've taken into the field. You can swap out members without the worry of losing the benefit of their experience. Trust in your own judgment and pick a team you know you can work well with. That should be enough to get you started. You can figure out the rest as you go.
Wow. Squad leader's a lot of responsibility. Come to think of it, Faldio's heading up Squad 1, isn't he? I wonder if he's off sorting through this stuff now, too. I'd better get a move on.
Lucky number 7, and we build up our team like that. Let's head out to training field, which has one of my favorite characters in the game.
Welcome to your worst nightmare. I'm the guy who's gonna whip you lazy blobs into shape. Still, I can't work miracles here. No amount of drilling beats real combat experience. I want you all to go out there, kick some imp tail, and then show me what you learned. I will train that experience into something you can actually use. Level you bums up. But don't go trying to hog all the glory. A squad's a team, and we got no need for stars. You will train as a class, and level up by class. Scout level 2, Scout level 3. You get it? When the scouts level up, that means each and every one of them goes up that level. You hear me, maggots? Any of you think he's better than the rest of the team, go home now! All right. Now I'll show you lowlives how this whole thing actually works. It ain't complicated. First you go out there and fight, then divvy up that experience. Once the experience you cram into a soldier class clears a set amount, it'll level up. Picking which class to level up and when is your job as the squad leader. Now give it a go. Train all you want. I've got all day.
So here's the board. By sinking in as much EXP as needed, you'll level up that class. I like to keep everybody decently rounded. Level up everybody. I'm pretty sure the only one that's going to fall behind are scouts, in all honesty.
You're better than this. Push those limits.
This might be something I will do slightly in the background,
Good work,
but
maggots. You're one level closer to human.
love that line.
Like that session beat a new potential out of the Lancers.
Good. Now we get potentials.
Looks like that session beat a new potential out of the snipers.
There are two types of potentials. These are what I was talking about, quirks and all that. Let's take Catherine over here, for example, for Sniper. You have your base potentials, meaning their unique personality traits, and your B potentials, being those special perks that only come out from training. So we got Nestmaster and Accuracy Boost for Snipers, and Tank Killer, First Aid Boost, and First Aid Boost. We'll get over to Largo and Rosie soon. And I'll pop that little bubble now. Bridget, or Rosie, who's more colloquially named, and Largo are two extra party members. They also both count as CP, as well as they are our main characters to our squad. Think of these two as our old dogs and the ones keeping us in the line. So I would want to level up Scout and Engineer.
You're better than this.
Because personally I like using Scouts as their main job, but trying to get potential out of them is really important to me, in all honesty.
Okay, you've earned clearance for
And we got an order. So, orders.
Got it? That's how training by class works. Now get out there and rack up some experience. Oh, and there's one more thing to add. Sometimes leveling up a unit class will unlock a hidden potential in them. You can think of potentials as the natural abilities your soldiers have. Those abilities will form a big part of your strength in the field, so keep them in mind. Other times, leveling up a class will earn you clearance for a new order. Here, as long as we're talking about it, I'll teach you a classic, a real... Orders are special commands you can give out as the squad leader. They can save your tail. It doesn't take a genius to see that leveling up your soldiers is the best way to beef up your squad. The soldiers will get stronger, and you just might unlock new potentials and orders. All that just from me working you sorry bums into the dirt. I just hope you maggots are ready for a real workout the next time I see you here.
Isn't he a treat? But yeah, potentials. Okay, let's go into orders. Orders are our buffs. That's the reason why the LOI is on the field, because it's a command center. Depending on the situation, orders are always good to use. Period. If you know how to control your command points correctly, orders can either make or break a mission. Using it too early might put you into trouble. Using it too late will definitely put you into trouble. It's all about finding that good flow of how much points I have and is it worth using this command, this order. And trust me, we have our way to get orders. We don't have it at the moment, and I feel that's relatively for the best because it's the most finicky part of the fucking game. So let's go to R&D.
Welcome to R&D, man. What can I do you for? Huh? Wait, I know that insignia. You're Lieutenant Gunther, aren't you? I knew it! Man, I've heard about you! That evacuation at Brule was just... wow! Protecting a tiny life in the middle of all that slaughter? Man! Oh, Lieutenant, you're good people. You get all my respect and then some, bro.
What's going on, Leon? I could hear you from clear across the hangar.
Oh, Casey, check it out! It's Lieutenant Gunther! He's the man!
Sorry about him, Lieutenant. He's like this all the time, I'm afraid. But where are my manners? I'm Kreese Cherney. I'm training here as a mechanic.
Oh, and I'm Leon Schmidt, but just call me Leon, bro. I'm your boy.
So, Lieutenant Gunther, what brings you down to R&D today? We do work here on weapons development, making upgraded weapons and equipment.
And that includes rifles and machine guns. We can even soup up your tank. Of course, research expenses aren't cheap.
With rifles and other firearms, we'll mass-produce new models as they're developed. You won't have to worry about making enough for your squad. We'll outfit them.
For tanks, you can upgrade the baseline performance of the body itself, or develop optional parts that you can add on to tweak out its specs.
Right. You can choose which optional parts you want in the tank equipment section. Come in anytime and make adjustments based on the needs of the operation at hand.
But Fane tanks. Development works on tanks happen in the form of body enhancements, treads, and weak point improvements and attack support. Body enhancements mostly reinforce the gun barrel and body armor to improve its base stats. Tanks will automatically be given the best body type you have developed. You decide whether to favor attack or defense, or alternating body types gives your tank a different outward appearance. Improvements to tread and weak point and attack support take the form of parts that can be added to the tanks to enhance their abilities. Each part has a set size and blocks. You decide how to fill your 4x3 block storage capacity and the otherwise. Pick the optional parts that best fit your own personal combat style. Okay, so what happens here is Leon is the one that handles weapons, and I think Kreese is the one that handles Alphane the tank, specifically. So, when we go into the weapons, we have our rifles, which are only for scouts and engineers. Our machine guns, which are only for shock troopers. Our anti-tank lances for lancers. And our snipers for our sniper rifles for our snipers, obviously. We have our hand grenades as well as uniforms for our defensive upgrades. I consider getting as much as you can on defenses because it's really worth it.
Here you go, bro. All done.
You have two set of blast suits. The normal outfit that we got is for your scouts, your shock troopers, your engineers, and your snipers. Blast suits are only for lancers, obviously, because they're more oriented around blast damage. So let's upgrade our Galleon to level 2 for an accuracy boost.
It's done.
As you can see here, our weapons will soon separate into 3 different types. We'll get to it when we get to it. The same calls for the mags. The lance only separates into 2 styles. lance changes into 2 styles, and I think the sniper rifle only sticks to. I think that one just separates to 3. So everything gets a buff. Since we've been doing relatively well on missions, we get this little perk. Nothing for hand grenade, and we're back to outfits. So now let's move on to otherwise. Body enhancements. Let's reinforce the barrel.
All set for you.
Spare tread, radiator upgrade, sight upgrade. These are your basic upgrades, so these will actually affect your allies no matter what. No need for block space or anything like that, thankfully. I'll best way grind off screen and handle it there. Radiator, that, and I'm not able to do anything else because I got everybody else's gear up. So,
Well, sir, was that helpful? We're working here around the clock to make possible tomorrow what's out of reach today. Come again a little later. We'll do our best to have something useful for you by then.
Yeah, you better come back soon, bro. I am all fired up to work on stuff for you.
So this is where we're going to cut here. Because how Valkyria Chronicles works, how I'm going to work it, is every chapter within the description, because we're changing from parts to chapters in this game specifically, we'll be referring to each chapter whenever it goes too long like this, from A, B, and best bet C. So, because cutscenes do eventually get longer, story, plot, and all that, so we'll be separating it like that. So next time on Valkyria Chronicles, we continue on through chapter 3, specifically 3A. I hope to see you, 3B. I hope to see you then. Oh, and we got a new tab. The headquarters on the Galleon Militia base. You can use your experience points, your funds, and acquired in battle to train your troops to higher levels and develop new weaponry. Stopping by before combat or after an op, once you acquire more resources, is a good idea. Go to triangle button, select headquarters, tab select menu to base facilities. As you progress through the game, new destinations around the base will become available to you as well. Okay then, let's just go like this. I'll see you everybody next time.